Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A sixth Senate vote aimed at advancing funding bills to end the government shutdown failing again today. The proposal remaining 6 votes short of the necessary 60 as lawmakers on both sides continue to point fingers during this impasse.
Democrats pushing for that extension to the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Republicans saying that's an issue for later this year. Credits designed to expand coverage for low and middle income people, set to expire at the end of the year. Without it, healthcare premiums are expected to cost hundreds of dollars more, and it's a concern for many Wisconsinites as open enrollment for the ACA just about 3 weeks away. Jason Zimmerman speaking to both sides today about the impact of the subsidies. He's live in the Fox Valley newsroom.
Cami, millions of Americans and more than 300,000 people in Wisconsin depend on the Affordable Care Act, and many are just now receiving letters ahead of the November 1st open enrollment period for next year. This includes Nicole Meyer from Neenah, who's depended on the coverage for the past 9 years. In September, she was also notified by Common Ground that the insurance co-op was no longer providing ACA coverage for people in Winnebago County, leaving one less provider option. This, coupled with the prospect of premium subsidies being eliminated by Congress, is a combination expected to dramatically drive up next year's rates. Senator Ron Johnson also addressed the issue by calling into a conservative radio talk show this afternoon. But first, here's what Meyer told us about what this means for her.
I think insurance is security. I had 2 years ago an emergency surgery and a lot of other things that would have put me bankrupt had I not had that. So going without insurance is really not a good choice.
I sure hope we don't cave and extend these temporary COVID pandemic-enhanced subsidies, which have resulted in tens of billions of dollars of fraud, and perpetuate that fraud.
Some of the other people who depend on coverage from the ACA include small business owners, farmers, and adults who are retired but not yet eligible for Medicaid or Medicare. Reporting live in the Fox Valley News from Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.